Hi, and welcome to Module 1, Lesson number 1 of Soulmate Mastery. It's very important that you view this video in its entirety before diving into the actual work. So let's get started. Now, you might be familiar with the song from the 1990s by Hathaway. It's titled, "What is Love?" Oh my gosh, I can still hear that song playing in my head. Baby, don't hurt me no more. You see, the vocalist was asking the question, what is love? Scientists in fields ranging from anthropology to neuroscience have been asking the same question, albeit eloquently or less eloquently, for decades. So it turns out the science behind love is both simpler and more complex than we might think. See, if you were to Google the phrase biology of love, you would get answers that run the gamut of accuracy. Needless to say, the scientific basis of love is often sensationalized. And as with most science, we don't know enough to draw firm conclusions about every piece of the puzzle. But here's what we do know, is that much of love can be explained by chemistry. So if there's really a formula for love, what is it? And what does it mean? Think of the last time you ran into someone you find attractive. You may have stammered or your palms got sweaty. You may have said something incredibly awkward and stumbled spectacularly while trying to stroll away. Or maybe that was just me when I saw Kevin Costner for the first time. Chances are your heart was pounding in your chest. So it's no surprise that for centuries, people thought love and most other emotions for that matter come from the heart. But as it turns out, love is all about the brain. Now, I'm not saying the heart doesn't play a role, but we'll learn more about that later on. But because it's primarily taking place in the brain, it's no wonder those feelings drive the body nuts. You see, according to a team of scientists led by Dr. Helen Fisher at Rutgers University, romantic love can be broken down into 3 categories: lust, attraction, and attachment. Each category is characterized by its own set of hormones stemming from the brain. You may want to refer to your handout at this point. Go ahead and take a look at Table 1. Are you ready? Great. Let's get chemical. Lust is driven by the desire for sexual gratification. The evolutionary basis for this stems from our need to reproduce, a need shared among all living things. Through reproduction, organisms pass on their genes, and in doing so contribute to the perpetuation of their species. The hypothalamic area of the brain plays a big role in stimulating the production of sex hormones known as testosterone and estrogen. These hormones come from the testes in males and the ovaries in females. With these chemicals, we're often led to stereotyping as being male or female, but respectfully, both play a role in men and in women. As it turns out, testosterone increases libido in just about everyone. The effects are less pronounced with estrogen, but some women report being more sexually motivated around the time that they are ovulating. When estrogen levels are highest, this can occur. And again, that's how we engage in what I call the circle of life. Meanwhile, attraction seems to be a distinct, though closely related phenomenon. While we can certainly lust for someone that we're attracted to, and vice versa, one can happen without the other. As you can see in Figure 1, attraction involves the brain pathways that control reward behavior, which partly explains why the first few weeks or months of a relationship can be so exhilarating and even awe-consuming. Dopamine produced by the hypothalamus, is a particularly well-publicized player in the brain's reward pathway. It's released when we do things that feel good to us. In this case, these things could include spending time with loved ones, kissing, or other intimate engagements. High levels of dopamine and every related hormone, known as norepinephrine, are released during attraction. These chemicals make us giddy, energetic, and euphoric, even leading to decreased appetite and insomnia, which means you actually can be so in love that you can't eat and you can't sleep. Maybe that's where the term lovesick originated. In fact, norepinephrine, also known as adrenaline, may sound familiar because it plays a role in the fight or flight response, which kicks into high gear when we're stressed, and it keeps us alert. Brain scans of people in love have actually shown the primary reward centers of the brain, including the ventral tegmental area and the caudate nucleus, fire like crazy when people are shown a photo of someone that they are intensely attracted to. Now, this is in comparison to when they are shown someone that you know that maybe you're not that excited about. Maybe an old high school acquaintance. Finally, attraction seems to lead to a reduction in serotonin, a hormone that's known to be involved in appetite and mood. Interestingly, people who suffer from obsessive compulsive disorder also have low levels of serotonin, leading scientists to speculate that this is what underlies the overpowering infatuation that characterizes the beginning stages of love. Now, last but not least, attachment is the predominant factor in long-term relationships. While lust and attraction are pretty much exclusive to romantic entanglements, attachment mediates friendships, parent-infant bonding, and social cordiality, and many other intimacies as well. If you look at the figure, you will see the two primary hormones here appear to be oxytocin and vasopressin oxytocin. This is also named or nicknamed the cuddle hormone. For this reason, like dopamine, oxytocin is produced by the hypothalamus and released in large quantities during sex, breastfeeding, and childbirth. This may seem like a very strange assortment of activities, not all of which are necessarily enjoyable, but the common factor here is that all of these events are precursors to bonding. It also makes it pretty clear why having separate areas for attachment, lust, and attraction is important. We are attached to our immediate family, but those other emotions have no business there. And let's just say people who have conflicted this up to this point don't have a very good track record. This all paints quite the rosy picture of love hormones when released, making us feel rewarded and close to our romantic partner. But that can't be the whole story. Love is often accompanied by jealousy, erratic behavior, and irrationality, along with a host of other less than positive emotions and moods. It seems that our friendly cohort of hormones is also responsible for the downsides of love. Dopamine, for instance, is the hormone responsible for the vast majority of the brain's reward pathway, and that means controlling both the good and the bad. We experience surges of dopamine for the virtues and our vices. In fact, the dopamine pathway is particularly well studied when it comes to addiction. We are so familiar with knowing and understanding all of the negative and how that plays out. But I'm here to tell you today that there's also a positive side. You see, the same regions that light up when you're feeling attraction light up when drug addicts take cocaine and when we binge eat sweets. For example, cocaine maintains dopamine signaling for much longer than usual, leading to a temporary high. In a way, attraction is much like an addiction to another human being. The same brain regions light up when we become addicted to material goods. And I just want to share with you for a moment. When looking at the neural pathways of someone that is addicted to drugs compared to someone that is in love or enjoying their favorite chocolate dessert, all I can see are the peptides that have attached to the neurons. See, that's the formation of any habit. So what's the difference? The difference is simply the words that we use to describe what the human being is experiencing in that moment. So consider this: addiction, habit, love, or in love, or falling in love, all come from the same place. Now, when we become emotionally dependent on our partners, go ahead and look at figure 2. And addicts going into withdrawal are not unlike love-struck people craving the company of someone they cannot see. The story is somewhat similar to oxytocin. Too much of a good thing can be bad. Recent studies on drugs such as MDMA, also known as meth or ecstasy, show that oxytocin may be the hormone behind the feel-good, sociable effects these chemicals produce. These positive feelings are taken to an extreme, in this case, causing the user to disassociate from his or her environment and act vividly and recklessly. Furthermore, oxytocin's role as a bonding hormone appears to help reinforce the positive feelings we are ready to feel towards the people we love. That is, as we become more attracted to our families and friends and significant others, oxytocin is working in the background, reminding us why we like these people and increasing our affection for them. While this may be a good thing for monogamy, such associations are not always positive. For example, oxytocin has also been suggested to play a role in ethnocentrism, increasing our love for people in an already established cultural group, and making those unlike us, say, more foreign, not even open to the suggestion. So, like dopamine, oxytocin can be a bit of a double-edged sword. And finally, what would love be without embarrassment? Sexual arousal, but not necessarily attachment, appears to turn off regions in our brain that regulate critical thinking, self-awareness, and rational behavior, including parts of the prefrontal cortex. This is why some people end up with a regret, embarrassment, and even shame about engaging sexually with someone that they were not in a relationship with or married to, someone that they had no intention of being with. Understanding these chemical reactions will help move you away from any regrets that you have, should this be the case for you. So in other words, love makes us dumb. Have you ever done something when you were in love that you later regretted? Perhaps not. We could ask Romeo and Juliet, but it's a little late for them. So in short, love can be both the best and the worst thing for us if we don't engage with understanding. It can be the thing that gets us up in the morning or what makes us never want to wake up again. I'm not sure I could define love for you. If I kept trying, if I kept sharing, even over the course of the next couple of days, I don't think that I would be able to truly define it for you. But in the end, everyone is capable of defining love for themselves. if they are willing to create the experience instead of simply falling into their chemical bliss for better or for worse. If it's all hormones, maybe each of us can have chemistry with just about anyone, but make sure you do the work to have the best experience your union can provide. The cultivating of friendship and partnership can bring years of romance, collaboration, and happiness. So, complete your assignments and don't forget to keep us updated in the Facebook group. Thank you for your time. I'm Dr. Carrie Skirtla, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video. Bye for now.